This isn't what you'd expect a nervous first-time mom to sound like. She should be sleep-deprived, anxious, worried, right? At the Christ Hospital Health Network, we try to build trust, give honesty and levity in equal measure, so you can ask any question, share any experience with someone who understands, someone that doesn't just sound like a doctor, but like a friend. The Christ Hospital Health Network, everything it takes.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 809, Trying to Love Your Body at Any Size.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I am Amanda Valentine, and let's talk about the most party topic, body image. Woo! And trying to love your body at any size. Now, when I was thinking about how to title this episode, I'm like, do I want to put loving your body at any size? And there's a specific reason why I chose trying to love your body at any size, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I feel like I'm trying. I don't want you to listen to this episode and act like I have all the answers, because I don't. I have learned a lot along the way in my own personal journey, but I definitely don't have the answers. And it's a process, and it's trying every single day. So just wanted to be completely transparent before we get into discussing this. And I'm coming at this topic from my own personal journey, not only me and my body issues that I've had my entire life, but through the process of not only having this podcast for over 5 years and all the people that I've talked to, but also being a personal trainer and health and wellness coach and nutritionist, and everybody that I've come across all along the way that has dealt with this issue, including all of my friends. And this just seems, especially for women, God, it's just something. I have not met one person that's like, oh, I have all the answers to this. All of us are just really trying to love the body that we are in. And I would say that love changes on a day-to-day basis, especially when hormones come into play. So I definitely, I was having one of my long cries in the shower because that's a thing for me now, in all of the best ways possible. And I was just really thinking about this topic, and I was like, man, this is something I feel like I should just kind of let my heart out on and have a discussion about, and hopefully it's helpful to somebody that listens to this. So I definitely wanted to hop into that. Before I hop into this topic, though, I do want to talk about some people that can definitely help you with your body image. One of them is Sarah in Team Fit With Me. Sarah is amazing. Sarah has been my health coach in the past and has helped me lose weight and to feel better in the body that I'm in. Not that you necessarily have to lose weight to love the body that you're in, but getting me to a place where I would love my body more. So we're going to get into that here in a second, but Sarah's great. Sarah can run labs and see exactly what's going on with me. That's how I found out I have Hashimoto's disease, not from the blood work that my doctor offered. It's everything that all of my blood work at my doctor said everything was fine. And then Sarah gave me a list of things to ask for, did a deeper dive, and I went to an endocrinologist, and she's like, oh yeah, you got Hashimoto's, and it's just a matter of time until you have hypothyroidism. And I'm actually thinking, just based on some symptoms I have now, that I'm probably there. So I'm trying to get back in to my endocrinologist and discover that a little bit more. But this is a rabbit hole I wouldn't have gone down without Sarah, figuring out my hormones and then figuring out how to eat and move my body around that. So if you're looking for someone to help you with those things, help just keep you on track, help you with your nutrition, your movement, all of those things, Sarah is fantastic, and she has an entire team. And you can save 10% off of month one of all packages and plans when you go to teamfitwithme.com/poundthis. Also, Clean Eats in Newport and Westchester here in the Cincinnati area. Fantastic. Have been very helpful for me with my stress levels of not having to meal prep. And I know that so many people have told me that they're bummed out that I don't do my meal prep Sunday on Instagram anymore. That doesn't mean it's gone away forever, but like the food from Clean Eats is A+. It's all clean, fresh ingredients, and all the nutritional information, the macros, the calories and everything. They do the breakdowns every week, especially if you do the fresh meals, which I do 21 meals a week. You don't have to do that many meals. So what you do is they release those menus every single week, and you can order online as little or as many as you want. And all the pricing is at cleaneats.com. And then you come pick it up in the store, and that's it. There is no like membership. It's just week to week. It's whatever you need. So if you're like, hey, I know I'm coming back from a vacation, I don't feel like cooking this week, you could just do it for 1 week, which is awesome. Or you can just go in, check out the frozen grab and go section. But if you do order online, which I would recommend trying that out, you can save 10% when you use code POUNDTHIS, whether you are in Newport, Kentucky or Westchester, Ohio. Those 2 locations, use code POUNDTHIS when you make your online order, and you can save 10% off of your online order for Clean Eats to give them a try out, just to make your nutritional needs a little bit more convenient, because I feel like we could all definitely use some of that. So, and I actually, at the time of recording this, just went and picked up my meals today, and they look bomb. I'm really excited. I'm like, as much as I do like enjoy meal prepping, I really do keep it pretty plain and do the same things over and over again. So I just love the variety. It's just different for me. So let's get into the fun topic of trying to love your body at any size. And I would say that, this has definitely been something for me in my entire life. And a couple things that have come up that really sparked this topic for me, I wanted to bring up here to just give you some backstory, especially if you're new to this podcast. Cool. Hi. Thank you. Welcome. I had struggled with my weight and my body my entire life, and still do on different levels than where I've been in the past. But I've been obese from as long as I can remember. I'm going to say like 6 years old or so. And I was always, the fat girl in class. I was the fat, funny friend, as I like to coin myself, of like, so it's like, hey, you had to develop a sense of humor and have myself stand out. And hey, and I know how to crack jokes before you can crack joke about me. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a defense mechanism, but it's definitely helped me out in my life. So I tried like little diets or whatever here and there, I guess, in high school, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. And the internet wasn't that much of a thing. And when I did get the internet, it was just basically catfishing dudes in AOL chat rooms. So it was not like I was like Googling like how to lose the weight. And so I was just like put half a bottle of ranch on a bag of iceberg lettuce and think that I was like, this is how you lose weight. And I would say I did my first real diet in my 20s when I first moved away from home. When I was 20, I moved to another state for my first full-time radio job, because I used to work in radio forever. And I did Atkins until I had new neighbors that are like, we got a keg. And I'm like, let's go. And so once alcohol was, not that I condone underage drinking, but that was a long time ago. So whatever. That the Atkins thing went away real quick. And then plus when I was doing Atkins anyway, like all I did was like hardcore eat freaking bologna and hot dogs. Plus I was super poor. And so, I did that. And then I just spent my entire 20s like yo-yo dieting. And it was just based so much on just hatred for my body. Of like, I knew like, it felt like if you were thin, that's what like people loved you then. It felt like that was success. Especially in that time period, I'm 40 years old. So like in that time of like early 2000s, like 90s, the look was just very super skinny. And it just felt like that's where all, like, for me, it was like, that's where like all love comes from, as if you had this like lovable body. And that's where, I hated my body, because I'm like, my body doesn't look like that. I'm not allowed to love it. Like, what would I love this for? Ugh, like this body's so gross. And that's how I felt about myself for a very, very long time. And it was just, I would try to do these diets out of just, I hated myself and I had to change. And just covering myself up so much. I was definitely like into scarves for a while, and just trying to cover up my stomach with scarves. I would wear the button down shirt over the shirt, and just try to like hide. I did that all through high school too. And I would wear like boys' clothes. I wore like all like men's like Old Navy t-shirts and like a jacket over it. I just thought that was just hiding me. And I just felt like I had to hide myself from everyone else, because like I knew they would just couldn't hate me as much as I hated myself. And it was like really awful. And it makes me kind of want to cry thinking about it now, which PS, super hormonal right now. So like the tears may flow. Everything's flowing right now. But it was just like I did not love my body whatsoever. And then when I hit kind of what I considered a bottom for me, which is the end of 2011, I got out of a really bad job situation, and I was just starting another job situation, and I was just in a place where I'm like, and I'm, sorry if you've heard me tell this story over and over again of my journey, but like I was living in Denver at the time, and I'm like, I live in this most beautiful place and I don't even go outside. And I like, it's one of those things, like I spend so much time like loving the outdoors, but not spending any time out there because I'm like, I felt like I didn't deserve to do that. Like, I'm not that person. The people will look at me and be like, why is a fat girl trying to be outdoorsy? Like, I would stop myself from living my life so much because I hated my body so much, and I would let that stop me from living my life. And so it was a point where I was binge eating to the point of pain every single night. I was secret eating. I was binge drinking with my friends, and just like not doing anything. And so I'm like, this isn't the life I want to live. Like, I want to be a different person. Like, I want to be the person I feel like inside, but I won't allow myself to because of my body. And so that's why I started my New Year's resolution to start making the best decision possible in every moment at the beginning of 2012. And I really just started doing things that I liked, which was walking outside. I mean, I will tell people now, I'm like, I lost over 100 pounds I didn't have a gym membership. I was walking outside. Then I started Couch to 5K. I did the Chubby Jones Couch to 5K podcast. And I did that. I started running, and then I just really got into hiking. So after my first year of that journey, I moved to Oregon for another radio job. And I mean, I was outside hiking every single day, hiking or running, or walking, like all of the combination of the three. And that's what I just really love to do, is like listen to podcasts, be outside and walk. And holy cow, it freaking worked. Like, imagine doing something that you actually love instead of like punishing your body. Like, you have to go to the gym and you have to beat your own ass so you can not be this person anymore. Like, no wonder that stuff didn't work. So I just really started loving myself more. And I wouldn't say that I was all the way there, because I'm still not, but it was so interesting. So to get to the point where I'm like, two things that kind of struck me that made me want to record this episode specifically was I was a guest on another podcast a couple weeks ago, and this conversation came up of like how in that time, so it was like 2012, and it was the year that I was like actively losing weight, like in a, I guess, a big way, or because I was just doing this really big life shift at the time. And a girl that I considered one of my best friends at the time had like a party, and her and another girl kind of cornered me and just were like pissed. And they're just like, we don't understand like why you got to change your body. Like, why, and like, I was there still like drinking and eating. So it wasn't like I was sitting there with like my celery sticks and judging everyone. Like, you guys are eating, cocktail wieners, what trash, like nothing like that. Like, I was enjoying myself and not talking at all about any of the health journey I was on. And so I was just like, I don't understand where this is coming from. And one of the things they said to me was like, why can't you just love the body you're in now? And I told them, I'm like, I wish I did. I really wish I did. God, that would be awesome. But I don't. So I am working to make changes so I can learn to love the body that I'm in. And I loved doing all of those things, and I loved how I felt. Like, I had more energy, like I just felt good, and I was learning to love my body more through actions that I loved. And so, not to say that was the best answer or anything, because I'm just going from my own personal experience. But it was, when faced with that question, I was just like, I wish I did, but I don't. And so I'm working on it, and I'm trying to work out on it from a place of love instead of hate. And so I'm like, I don't really feel like that's bad. And I had so ingrained in me that you did need to be smaller or skinnier to be loved. And I'm not saying that's completely beat out of my head either, because that's hard when you've heard that your whole life, not only as a culture, but I mean, that is like something like literally family members told me was like, you're fat and no one will ever love you. Like, that was said to me And like, not only that by family members, but like by, of course he was like bullied in school, and people made fun of like my body. And so I'm like, it's hard to unwind those things. And that's again why I'm saying like trying to love the body at any size, because when you have those things ingrained in you, not only by other people, but by yourself, I mean, that is a process to unwind. And I think that if you think that you're going to wake up tomorrow and automatically just like be obsessed with yourself and love this body that you're in, when you've spent a lifetime being angry at it, it is a process, and it is work, and it is, I think, really truly learning to love not only the body you're in, but yourself. And I think those things your body is not different than your soul. Like, they are attached together. You know what I mean? Like, you are a soul, you are a person inside of your body, and they work in tandem. So I think that rabbit hole here, because I really love thinking of like, reading The Body Keeps a Score and stuff like that, of how like stress and trauma manifest in the body. Like, we think that these are all just like head games, but like they will show up as pain and things in your body. Like, we are together, we are in it together. So I think that, it's really hard to, your body gets on the same page as your mind and work through that sort of thing. And so, that thing that was said to me, and, that's something that I've thought about. And, in the past 11 years that I've been on this journey, it's been a roller coaster ride too. It has been getting down to the smallest size I've ever been, the fittest. And even being at that size, I didn't feel like all of those things went away. I would still look in the mirror and be like, you look fat. And I'm like, that's not true. So I'm like, I wasn't fully loving my body at that size, and I wasn't fully loving my body at a larger size. So there's more to this game than just what your body looks like. And how do you just like have gratitude and love for your body, no matter what size it is. And I think that comes from just really loving yourself and this person that's with this body, and these amazing things that your body can do for you. And I know that we can hear this narrative, and we can watch this on TikTok videos and listen to podcasts, and they say these sort of things, and you're like, yeah, I get it. Awesome. High five. But it's really freaking hard to live. Like, it is, it's super hard. It is so hard. So like, I think that's what's so frustrating, at least for me too, as a person that has a podcast and has social media and discusses these sort of topics, is like, I see these videos, I'm like, that's amazing and that's inspirational. But at the same time, like, it's really freaking hard no matter where you're at in your journey. And I'm like, I feel like that's helpful for me to know that like, this is a struggle for everyone, and it just gets better. It just like, I think that's what's so helpful, is that it just gets better and you catch yourself in it more. And I feel like that's where I'm at now. I'm not nearly as awful to myself as I used to be. Do I have my moments? 1000%. But I catch myself in those moments, and then I'll be like, is that true? Is that right? And then I have a conversation with myself about that. And that's the difference. Instead of really fully believing it, living in it, continuing to hate myself and everything else around me, like, it's like, no, I'll catch myself in those moments of those thoughts, and I'll be like, no, let's really think through that. Is that true? Like, does how your body look right now define who you are as a person? And all of the relationships that you have, and the joy that you've had, or you bring to other people, and the successes that you've had, and everything you do, like, is how your body look right now? Take all that away? Can the person in this body right now not do those things? And it's like, no, that's trash. It's garbage. That is an old narrative that is so like a pattern that is, or like a trail that is like so deeply and like just down to the ground that it's like, okay, well, we have to stop walking in that circle. And how do we chill this out a little bit? Does that make sense? And another thing, because again, like I wander and I talk a lot, so thank you for bearing with me. So not only would that story come up in the past couple weeks about that like dinner party I went to, but also because I got divorced last year, and I haven't dated previously since like 2003. So it's been a minute. and as a person who is dating now, I will catch myself wanting to tell somebody, like where I'm at right now in my body. And like that I'll be like, oh, I gained a lot of weight in the past, like, year, 2 years, like dealing with like divorce and like hard life changes. Like for some reason, I want to tell this person that has an interest in me and how I currently am. Like, oh, no, not this body. Like I can do better than this. Like I need to be like, oh no, I'm gained some weight. I'm not in tip top shape right now. Life's been hard. I'm like, and stop myself of like, why do I want to say that? Why do I want to say that to this person? And so that's where I'm at right now, because I am not at my smallest size, which is fine. And I am at a size that, I get it's hard because like some days where I'm like, dang, I'm rocking it. And other days I'm like, if I could just lose like 20 pounds, I would feel so much better. And then I'll have to stop myself and be like, why? You know what I mean? Like it's really hard, I guess, in the place where I'm at right now is I've been so driven by like, you always got to lose weight, to be like, is that the right answer right now? Am I really going to feel that much better if I lose 20 pounds right now? And I think, and then I have to pull myself back. I'm like, well, from a standpoint where I'm like, my joints feel better and I have more energy. Yeah, I do. But like, is it just based off of like, oh, you don't like look this part that you feel like you should look like? Is that what's driving you to say that? And I think that telling dudes that want to, that I'm going to go on a date with, that like, that is totally driven by like looks or what I think their expectation of what somebody that's a better match for them is. Like, I don't know what their personal like tastes are, what like body size I like. And actually I shouldn't give a shit either. Because this is my life and my body. And if you don't like it, then you don't need to be around me. So that's kind of the headspace I am with that. But it's so hard because that comes up a lot. Because especially for me, in the place where I was dating before and where I was with my body at that point, like all of it was just like, oh, in order to like get a man, you got to be skinny and hot. Like nobody's going to want this body. And like, that's so much the headspace that I was in. And so that is definitely kind of like clued me into like, do I loving my body at any size right now with the size that I am of like, and just the space that I'm in, and without having to think of like, you have to lose weight right now. You have to be more toned or more fit. Like, and just like, I don't know, like I'm in this total, like, I guess like midlife crisis anyway of trying to decide of who I am and all this other stuff. But it's like, I'm really actively trying to be like, this body that I'm in right now, this size of like, I need to love it for everything it is right now. And can't let it come up that I feel like I need to tell somebody else of like, oh, I've gained weight. Like, and not only like with like dating, but I just feel like I almost need to tell that to anybody that I introduce myself with, where I'm like, hey, I'm Amanda Valentine and I have a podcast and stuff like that, where I like, my podcast was born out of my own health journey and weight loss journey, but like, oh, but I've gained weight. So I'm like, I've talked about weight loss, but like not this body though. Like, I feel like I have to say those things and like justify it. And I'm like, but why? So I think that's where I'm at right now, is like that stuff still like populates in my mind. And I'm really trying to question that, and then being like, but am I not loving the body I'm in right now? Like, and why not? And how do I keep working on that? And again, it's so much better than it used to be. And just like, even thinking of like, I mean, I randomly the weekend that I'm recording this, I went to a yoga class Friday night and I went to a boxing class Saturday morning. And I felt like really good, except I'm like, yoga's hard for me, man. I always feel like the Tin Man, like that's all rusted up. Like, I'm not really good at stretching. Like, I never have been. But like the boxing class, I'm like, oh, I just keep getting sick and I'm not in tip top shape. But I went in there and I felt like I kicked some ass. And so I'm like, I'm 40 years old and I can just like pick up and go do back-to-back fitness classes, including a boxing class. It's pretty intense. And like my body feels good. Like my janky knees didn't hurt. Like I felt really good through the whole thing. I felt really good afterwards. And I was like, that is a healthy, cool body that I should love. And it shouldn't be like, oh, well, you can see back rolls while I'm working out. You can see my back rolls through my tank top. So like you should work on that, Amanda. And trust me, because somebody took a video of me like boxing and that's exactly what I saw. And I'm like, you need to knock that thought right out of your head, girl. And so I'm like, no, this body is strong. This body is resilient. This body is kick-ass and does the things that I want it to do to live my best life. Love this body right now, because guess what? That body kicks some ass with some back rolls. So maybe if I lost the back rolls, I might be like anemic or something, and I don't know, and like super tired or like just like feeling sickly. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. So it's like you think that if you trade this one thing for the other, it all of a sudden is going to feel better. But I'm like, I guarantee you, if I magically woke up tomorrow and was 30 pounds less than I am right now, I'm going to find something that's wrong with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you think about it, like to me, it sounds weird, but that to me is helpful to be like, yeah, so like the solution is just loving it right now and what you're doing and appreciating those things right now, because that is helpful to me, and not be like, well, once it's this, it'll be better. Once my body is this size, or once my body looks like this, then magically I'm going to love myself more and all my problems are going to go away and I'm going to find a sugar daddy and he's going to pay all my bills. No, like it's not realistically how it is. And I can speak from that as a person that has like lived through all of this crap and knows many people who have. So it just is like one of those things that's like, well, you got to get to loving your body now, because when do you think it's going to fully change? And again, like I was in this space of like losing the most amount of weight that I should have to be healthy. I think if I would have lost any more than 117 pounds, then I would have been not that healthy. And being that and being like super fit, like visible abs on a daily basis, good Lord, and being at that space and still finding fault in my body. What else do I think is going to solve that? You know what I mean? So it's going to be like, well, picking up an extra boot camp class, or eating one less slice of pizza, or doing whatever you think that you got to do isn't going to solve the problem of loving yourself more in your body. It's got to be like, how do you just love this person now and then take care of that person? And that's where I'm like, I feel good when I'm eating really clean and I'm sticking to my plan and I'm drinking my water and I'm getting my sleep and I'm doing my meditations and I'm trying to deal with stress. And so like, that's when I feel really good. And those are the moments where I do love myself the most. I love myself and I love my body the most when it just feels good. It feels like when you're doing all of these really good things for you, for your body, you can love that body at whatever size it is. Because I just think, I don't know, that just seems to be like the magic pill for me anyway. It's like when I'm doing those things that I know are good for me, I feel like I'm taking care of me because I love me. Then it doesn't matter what size I am. Was that true through my entire journey, my entire life? No, but that is where I am now, because you just keep on learning and growing. And I feel like where I'm at right now is one of the best spaces I have been in my entire life with self-love. I love myself more now than I have ever loved myself in my entire life. And that is a whole lot of work. And there's a whole lot of work, and it ain't easy, and it's not as easy as listening to a podcast or reading a book or getting inspirational memes. Like all of that's part of it. It's all pieces. I do all of those things. I enjoy all of those things, very much so. But like, it's not solving all the problems. Like you gotta just do the work and surround yourself with like really supportive, amazing people that can see these really beautiful things about you that you may not see for yourself because you've spent a lifetime of trashing yourself. You know what I mean? And that's where it's like, man, it's so funny because like, and this is something that's come up for me too, where I'll be like, get into a space where I'm like, oh, I got to trash my body. It looks a certain way. And like, and I will see someone else and what their body looks like, I'm like, they're a freaking knockout, smoke show, gorgeous. And I'm like, but you think that you look like trash? Like, this is what these like beautiful bodies of all different shapes and sizes. I'm like, again, it's an attitude. I'm like, can I imagine of like, if I were going to date this girl and be like, going up to her and be like, I'm not interested. You need to lose 20 pounds. I'm like, oh, hell no. Or just even thinking about like men, like even like dudes, like just thinking about like my own dating and stuff like that. Of like, is there somebody that like I would not have interest in if I enjoyed them as a person because of their body size? And I'm like, no, that's not a thing for me. So I'm like, so why do I feel like that's a thing for myself? Like I can't say, I'm not going to say I can't. I say there's struggle points that I've had, definitely more so in the past, of seeing that for myself. But I'm like, I can see this in other people. So it's also great to have that support system and amazing people in your life that can see how truly and amazing and beautiful you are and can remind you of that when you go into these self-spins that you're not good enough and that your body is too big and you can't love it at that size. Like, it's super helpful to have like very supportive and blunt friends to be like, nah, dude, you're a hottie. You're beautiful. Like, you are an amazing person and this body is amazing that goes along with it because you're one and the same. Like, you are in your body. You're an amazing person. Your body is amazing. Stop being so freaking mean to yourself. And it's so hard. So yeah, I guess that's like, I'm sorry. Like, I hope that was helpful of even thinking about like having this topic of trying to love your body at any size. I did, just for funsies, Googled that. I'm like, okay, what's the internet's going to tell me? And I'm like, this list, this is one of the first list that came up that wasn't a sponsored post. This is from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And this is counseling and psychology services. And again, this was the first link that was not an ad, Googling this. And it says 10 ways to love your body. So here we go. This is according to a university, not just Amanda Valentine, podcaster. I'm going to start at number 10. 10, use strategies to love yourself. So it says, makes a list of things about your body, your eyes, for example, or hair. Remind yourself of these lists regularly of things that you love about yourself. Solid. Number 9, surround yourself with people who are supportive of you and your body, not critical. Did I just not say that? Oh my God, give me my PhD. Number 8, question ads that perpetuate unrealistic standards for our bodies. Instead of saying, what's wrong with me, say, what's wrong with this ad? And then it says, write the company. But come on, let's be real. Do you got time to like write complaint letters? And P.S., as a person who has a 9-to-5 job that receives complaints, just go ahead and don't. Unless it's like really, I guess, but whatever. I mean, I don't want to say that these companies should keep getting away with it, but like, good Lord. Whatever, another rant. Number 7, wear comfortable clothes that fit. That's a good one. And you know what? I just lived through this too. As I'm buying some new clothes, I was really getting in my head about the stupid sizing. This has just been in the past couple weeks. And I wanted to buy some black jeans. And I'm like, oh my God, this number is not a number I'm happy with. But if it goes up one more tick, I'm going to be really unhappy with it. And even though they're like uncomfortable, I was just like, I should get these anyway because I don't want to get the bigger size. And I'm like, whoa, you need to knock that crap off. So it's like, no, why can't you just wear like in sizing? I think we all know this is so stupid. And I think it's all meant to be a mind game. Like, you can get 5 different pairs of jeans at Target and they're all different sizes and they like all fit like the same way. Like, it's just, sizing is stupid. So again, I let it get in my head, but then you just got to stop yourself and be like, that's not real. Just buy pants that fit you. Who cares about the number? Because when they fit you, you're going to feel good instead of you feeling like your friggin' abdomen is being crushed. So yeah, I agree with that one. Wear comfortable clothes that fit. Holla. Number 6, move with your head held high. And it says, if you act like someone with a healthy body image and good self-confidence, the act, quote unquote, will eventually become reality. Hey man, put it out there, manifest it. And I agree with that. If like you're feeling good and you put the confidence out there, that's it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was just having this conversation with somebody like a week ago about a hat choice that they were contemplating, but they're like, oh, I don't know if I can pull that off. I'm like, you can pull off anything as long as you feel confident about it. I've been wearing a fanny pack like a mom in 1992 heading to Six Flags for years now, like the totally uncool way. And I don't care. It's awesome. It's convenient. By the way, wearing a fanny pack around your fanny is way more convenient than wearing it like a purse. I just want to say that. That's my own rant. I don't like it when it's all up in my armpit. So I wear it around my waist like it's 1992. And guess what? People might judge me, but I'm like, I own it. I am confident. I love it. My head is held high. I love it. I am banging. So do your thing. Number 5, exercise to feel good and be healthy. Yes. Just talked about that too. Not to just beat up or punish your body. Do it because it feels good and find exercise you actually like. Don't do stuff that sucks, that you hate. But also, with that being said, experiment and try different things. That's just my own advice on this one. Number 4, think of your body as an instrument instead of as an ornament. Isn't that interesting? I have not heard that before. So let me say it again without stumbling all over it. Think of your body as an instrument instead of as an ornament. And then it says, be thankful every day for all the wonderful things that you can do in your body, such as dance, play, run, enjoy good food, and give hugs. Hell yeah. That one's awesome. I'm into that one. Number 3, throw out the bathroom scale. It says, you are much more than a number on a scale. Instead, focus on the most important things about yourself, like your unique talents, qualities, skills, and characteristics. I will say, I've done whole episodes on this, on the scale, because I'm all over the place with the scale. If you can be in a good mindset, my personal advice, if you can be in a good mindset and use the scale as a tool and not let it terrorize you, use the scale. The scale is giving you is a tool that's help guiding you along, giving you information, but is not bumming you out and making you cry or hate yourself. Cool. Use that scale. You hop on that scale and you feel like you can't eat for the rest of the day. That's a problem. Don't get on the scale. Rant over there. Number 2, change the messages you are giving yourself. It says, identify the negative ways that you speak to yourself and make a decision to replace that self-talk with more realistic, loving, and positive statements. Holla. And number 1, listen to your body. Eat when you are hungry and rest when you are tired. And I will say that is a hard thing to do. I think that I've spent a lot of my time being very unself-aware in not listening to my body or my intuition. And that's been a lot of self-work for me in the past several years, is to be more self-aware and really listen to my body and honor it. And even though that if what I'm feeling is different than what my brain tells me what I should be doing, be like, well, why don't maybe listen to my body on this one. So I thought that was a solid list. So I was like, okay, well, if you Googled this, that's pretty solid. I mean, that's a good source as well. That's not just some random person trying to sell you their supplements or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So, I mean, that would be my best advice for all of those things. And also just again, to reiterate that it's difficult. It's a process. It's an everyday practice. But aren't you worth it? It's one of those things. It's will you brush your teeth every day? I hope. Or you brush your hair every day, or all of those things. And you do those things to take care of yourself because you love yourself and you don't want your teeth to rot out of your face. So you do these sorts of things as self-care. You're taking care of yourself. And it's not the most glamorous because it's not a before and after picture. You can't see those results as much as you can of I went from this size to this size, but it's the lifelong lasting things that are going to guide you through everything. So it is worth doing. And at some points it is super painful and hard and crying on the shower floor hard. But I feel the darkest moments for me have been where the most growth happens. I think the parts where I really stop myself and feel those feelings and really get honest with myself and aware with myself of like, why am I going into this spin and tearing myself apart, and really thinking about it is really yucky. It's really gross. It's really hard to hold a mirror up to these parts about yourself that are easier to eat away or numb out to, or, just do whatever you do, your numbing agents, watching TV or maybe even exercising too much or drinking or whatever. And I have been the queen of numbing out. So I've no judgment there at all, but actually kind of sit in it so you can work through it, again, is really tough work. And I think those are the things those are the reps that you're putting into. Like, you think about getting your PRs of like when you're weightlifting, or you're getting a better time on a run, or doing all this stuff, or hitting a new low weight, or one of those things are, and you'll celebrate those wins. But I feel like these sorts of moments are just as big, if not bigger, sort of PR moments of like, you're getting all those mental reps in, that you're catching yourself whenever you go into these spins. You're actually becoming more self-aware, and you're working through these issues so they don't bother you as much anymore, and you know how to handle them. So, I mean, that's one of the things for me, like working through binge eating, is whenever I'd go through a binge of like really being like, what triggered this? And it is not fun. Like, you don't want to look at yourself after a binge. Is super shameful. And so you just feel like trash about yourself, even worse than you did before on the other side of a binge. And so, but to be like, what made me feel so awful that I felt like the only thing I could do to escape that was to just power eat it away, and then feel even worse on the other side. And it's like, sitting through those things is what I can catch myself in those moments more and be like, okay, well, how else can I work myself through this? And again, is this true? Is this story I'm telling myself about where I'm at right now true? And it gets better and better. But again, it's not this flashy, you cross the finish line and you get the medal around your neck moment as much as those other things are. But they're just so huge, and they get you to more of those kinds of moments. So I think if we reframe and think of those as personal records and these huge accomplishments and how amazing they are, I think it's easier to put more work into those, or to sift through those really ugly parts when we see that like there's just the huge wins that are on the other side that aren't as social media worthy because you can't visually see them. Anyway, I'm going to hop off my soapbox now. As always, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am beyond grateful for every person that has ever listened and has been a part of my journey all along the way. And I know that if you started listening to episode 1 and you're all the way here now, then it's like, man, I know that I've evolved so much in just even my philosophies and where I'm at with like my weight loss and my own body and my own mental health. Like, it is drastic differences, which I think is kind of amazing, that you can just see how much people change through a journey, and it's not going to stay the same. Like, you think that you create this person and you do this thing and it's going to be that way forever. And, change is the only constant, and you just change and move along. And especially after us all going through a global pandemic, like, everything changed, obviously. And how did we all deal with that? And who are we now in 2023 compared to who we were a year, 2 years, 3 years ago? So thank you so much for listening. If you could share this podcast with anybody that you feel like it would be helpful with, that would be absolutely amazing. I would appreciate that so much. And if you ever have any questions for me, or have a guest suggestion or a topic suggestion, I love to hear those. You can always send me an email, amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com, or you can follow me on Instagram @YouCanPoundThis. It's not porn. And I'll talk to you later.
AmandaValentineBites.com.